everybody, and welcome to episode 2 in the BVNK Payments Masterclass. It's a pleasure to have you all here today. For those of you who couldn't attend episode 1, it is now available on the BVNK website or the BVNK blog. So please head over there after the session and make sure to watch it. Dealing with deposits and withdrawals of cryptocurrency from your customers. Today, we're going to be dealing with a separate topic, receiving stablecoins from your partners and getting settled in fiat, the automated way, if you so choose. Today, I'd like to kick things off with an introduction. Jordan Matthews is on the call. He's the head of product for FX and CFDs, and myself, Jonathan Wood, commercial director for the FX and CFD business vertical within BVNK. Both Jordan and I have extensive experience within the industry on the merchant side. So we haven't just joined a payment provider and are now selling into an industry we've got absolutely no understanding of. So we've lived your pains and understand them extensively. To cover off the agenda for today, I'll be covering the first 3 bullet points: why stablecoins for global settlements, real world use cases for finance teams, as well as evolving regulation and the travel rule. And then I'll be handing over to Jordan for a demo, stablecoin settlements in action, and we'll be finalizing things with a Q&A. In the meantime, please make sure that you popping any questions that you may have into the panel and comment box provided. We'll kick things off today with a quick poll. The question is, are you already receiving stablecoins from partners? Now, within the BVNK ecosystem, we're seeing an eclectic mix in terms of the clients that are receiving and aren't receiving. The medium to large size merchants that have expanded globally into especially emerging market regions, we're seeing a much higher adoption of. But even a lot of the FX and CFD merchants that are looking to eradicate friction points from other service providers, not just payment providers, are already using stablecoin as a payment method. Just looking at the results, 67% are already receiving them, and just 33% are considering their options. So the entire audience today is essentially, for those of you that voted anyway, are already considering or using stablecoin as a payment method, which is hugely exciting. Why use stablecoins for global settlements? To kick things off, I would like to address a quote from Simon Taylor. Simon is the author of FinTech Brain Food, a stablecoin review paper released in September 2024. Simon, for those of you that don't know, also was the head of research and development for blockchain at Barclays, and he was instrumental in executing the first ever blockchain payment from a bank to a customer, not just within the Barclays ecosystem, but globally. So he is an established name in the industry, and he quoted, "The US dollar rail, which settles instantly with no safety and soundness risk, will be a game changer." That's really what we're focusing on today, the settles instantly part being the most important. Now, traditional fiat methods at any, or traditional fiat payment methods at any second, 11.6 billion of business capital is trapped in slow payment systems. We can see that this is predominantly in emerging market regions, pushing back up into established regions like Europe and the United States. Now, this 11.6 billion number is massive when you take into account the fact that this is money that is sitting in the ether and restricted from being invested into working capital. This means from a client deposit standpoint, you as a business would have to fund these over the course of days while you wait for that fiat to land in your ecosystem. You couldn't also deploy that capital to improve the growth of your business in areas that require quick investment. Stablecoin settlement enables access to funds 3 to 6 days sooner, and in many cases it's instant, especially for these emerging market routes. If we identify the blockers in the traditional cross-border payment systems, the originating business needs to get the fiat into the originating bank account. And then that fiat is sent across one or multiple intermediary banks globally before being finally received in the beneficiary bank account, where it can be deployed into working capital and used in various areas within the business. Now, if you compare that to stablecoin, the originating business simply sends USDT into the stablecoin intermediary, and immediately those funds are available for business. Now, why is the friction point still up to 24 hours? This is really mostly due to collection of emerging market currencies. Let's use the Indonesian rupee, and then converting that into USDT. So merchants really need to be reviewing the SLAs in terms of the speed of conversion of domestic currencies into USDT to speed up that 24 hours to ensure that it is as close to instant as possible. Businesses are already using stablecoin rails to send payments from emerging markets. Now we can see in this graph here that the uptake of stablecoins in regions like the Philippines, Argentina, where we're seeing a big devaluation of the local currency, in places like Malaysia, which is already one of the hotspots of FX regulation, South Africa, also another hotspot of FX regulation. The fact that stablecoins are already adopted quite widely in regions where FX and CFD trading platforms are looking to expand to the areas that they've identified as the high growth regions. The last thing you want to do is, when you move into a region of high growth or anticipated high growth, is to have the funds slowed down from a deposit and payment from supplier standpoint. What problems do stablecoins solve? Now, let's take a bit of a comparison between the traditional fiat issues and how stablecoins specifically solve those. Now, the global liquidity challenge, what do we mean by that? The slow cross-border settlements and no availability of these SWIFT and SEPA networks, etc., on weekends and public holidays. Stablecoin solves this by a 24/7 365 model, which allows ease of cross-border payments. So it is really, as previously mentioned, a borderless transaction currency. International growth is blocked. So when you move into a region, we'll use Indonesia again. When you move into Indonesia, the last thing you want to do is have to go find a local bank account, onboard a banking partner. This delays once you're set up. You want to immediately get transacting. And stablecoins enables you to do this immediately. You simply get a local payment partner doing the collection, conversion into stablecoin, and settlement out into your back into your stablecoin intermediary partner. Eroded profit from high FX fees. We're all very aware that collecting in South African rand or Filipino pesos is a costly exercise when you're converting that back into US dollars or into other established currencies like Euro and GBP. How do stablecoins solve these? Lower fees for international routes. This is up to 10 times cheaper for some routes. And it's really not just the fact that the FX conversion is 10 times cheaper, but that speed that we mentioned in previous slides enables the free up of working capital, where you can earn more in that money and expand your business a lot quicker. Difficult to pay global partners. This last mile payout is extremely slow and often complex. The stablecoins once again solve this to accelerate the settlement to global merchants, suppliers, and partners within the stablecoin payouts ecosystem. Some of the real world use cases for the FX and CFD industry specifically, we've alluded to this already, but settlement from local PSPs, especially PSPs in emerging markets, but at the same time, acquiring banks and EMIs within Europe are readily adopting this stablecoin method to settle their merchants, generally from a speed and ease of execution perspective. Fees and commissions, payments to IBs. We all know how imperative it is to keep the IBs happy within our within that FX and CFD ecosystem. Settle them extremely quickly to make sure that they kept satisfied to keep the clients within our ecosystem or within the FX and CFD merchant ecosystem. This is a somewhat newer use case, liquidity partner payments, but we're seeing a massive rise of this as clients of liquidity providers are seeing the need for instant settlements to settle margin calls, to increase credit limits, etc. The need for instant settlement and to remove the delays of traditional fiat payment systems and traditional banking systems means that a lot of the LPs are moving into the stablecoin environment and following FX and CFD, the path that the FX and CFD merchants have already forged. We can also pay external suppliers like such as tech providers. So it's not just for payments in, but it's also for effective payments out of the ecosystem. Now, going forward, we're going to be dealing with a bit of a regulatory review and how the regulation has better enabled the use of stablecoins within a highly regulated industry such as the FX, CFDs, and surrounding ecosystem of LPs and PSPs. The MiCA framework, which I'm sure many of you have heard about already, markets in crypto assets. The markets in crypto assets is essentially treating cryptocurrency and stablecoins as e-money. So it is passing very similar regulation to that on to that already placed on the fiat ecosystem, but it is further enabled by blockchain, by the blockchain, the auditability of the blockchain, and additional AML layers which instantly review and approve the cleanliness of transactions. The travel rule we'll be unpacking a little bit more in future slides, but the travel rule is coming into play in December of this year, and it is imperative that your partners as a stablecoin settlement partner is already complying with the travel rule. Regions like Great Britain and Singapore are also following very closely with money laundering regulation, registration and stablecoin bills in the UK. This is following a very strict oversight of the FCA on stablecoins to date, and will hopefully expand on the back of MiCA to make sure that the positive moves of MiCA are moving into Great Britain too. And then the mass stablecoin regulatory framework from Singapore. We're really seeing massive adoption of stablecoins. We were at IFX Bangkok last week in Bangkok for the Asian IFX, and the amount of users and the amount of FX and CFD trading platforms that had already adopted these was, I would say, even significantly more than any other regions we've engaged with to date. So, as promised, the travel rule comes to Europe this December. BVNK are doing a huge amount to already comply with this travel rule and will be 100% compliant by December, which is hugely exciting for us as a business. We feel like we're leading the space. But this won't just be from a European standpoint, but MiCA is mandating the compliance with the travel rule by December, but it's going to be globally effective. So essentially what the travel rule means is that the regulated stablecoin partner will be mandated to be collecting certain data such as KYC data, name of payer, wallet, and the AML understanding of the source of funds for that specific transaction. So the type of information being gathered from the payer will travel with the payment through the stablecoin intermediary and into the payer wallet. So it's going to be revolutionary for the space, and it's going to be adding a lot of transparency. As we can see here, that before the travel rule, there was no such thing as the payer name being attached to the payment, which was a massive issue within the FX and CFD space. The payer address or the ID, the KYC data coming through, and then also the receiving account or wallet number. After the travel rule, we can see that all these boxes are readily ticked, and they're going to ensure a lot more transparency around where the transaction's coming from, where the transaction's going to, And it's hugely exciting, not just for us at BVNK, but for the FX and CFD industry at large. I'm now going to be handing over to Jordan Matthews for today's demonstration on PSP stablecoin settlements in action.
Thank you, Janet. Hi there, everyone. So I'm Jordan Matthews, the CFD and Forex product manager at BVNK. So today I'm going to show you how you can receive crypto deposits from your PSPs, and then also have these auto converted into fiat, into segregated named accounts, USD, for example. So what we're going to do today is cover a few options for how to receive these funds. Firstly, through channels, which is one of our methods, which is normally used to cover regular payments. For example, if your PSPs want to pay in. So this is useful because you don't have to request each time, and you can set up designated channels. So we'll run through that today. We'll also show you about how you can receive funds via a payment link. So this is more towards the use case if you have a one-off payment and you want to receive a specific amount. And then as well as this, then we'll move over to show you how to receive the funds in crypto so that you don't necessarily have to have those auto converted into fiat. And then this can benefit you because then you can convert them at a time of your convenience, or as John has correctly shown today, with the mass adoption of stablecoins, perhaps you'll just keep them in stablecoins and then send them out that way at a later time. Great. And then lastly, what we'll cover today is we will show you what our RFI portal is, so request for information portal, how that works, and also how that is something that can benefit you, because it's something, especially in our sector, that we see a lot of questions and can be a pain point. And thankfully, we have a feature here at BVNK that should help to relieve that pain point. So without further ado, I will now start to share my screen and we can go into it. 1 second. Cool. So now you should be able to see my screen of our production account, which is the same as how you may be able to see it as a BVNK customer. So first of all, what I'm going to show today is the pay-in via channels. So essentially, let's take a use case here of you have a PSP who are in Brazil, for example, and they want to collect in the local currency of real. However, that's what they were originally settling in. However, now they're asking you that they want to settle in stable coins, for example, perhaps because of such currency fluctuations in their local market. Okay, well, you want to continue doing business with this PSP, so you don't want to cause any friction or blockers to this business relationship, of course. So what you understand is that you're happy to receive actually in stable coins because the settlement is faster. If you think about it, perhaps you're based in Asia or Europe, and you can actually receive stable coins way quicker than an international payment. That's great for you, and it's also more efficient, right? So essentially, what you can do here is set up a channel in the BVNK platform, and you can use this channel regularly for your PSP to pay in, so they can have a channel designated for themselves. So, for example, here's some. I can show you some that I made earlier. So first we'll go in and we'll make a channel. And essentially you can set up different channels for the PSP. So I go in to create a channel. I mentioned previously that I would like to do it in USD. So I can then, for example, now I want to do USD. So I can now show the display currency of USD. I can pick a crypto. For today's choice, I would like to do USDT. Let's maybe give this a name. Like so, and now I can create that channel. So now if we click on this next link, what we can see here is that I've created a channel, and now this, if I was the PSP, this is what I can see. So there's different USD protocols, as people who are crypto native might be aware. Those that aren't, there's different network ways of you to pay for USDT. If you're not sure which one to choose, we have help articles to help with that. So essentially now I'm going to go onto the Tron network. That's my one of choice, you could say. And now essentially what I'm doing is replicating if I was your PSP. So here you have the wallet address to send the USDT. So I could copy and paste here and put that into my own third-party wallet, not to name names or brands, but I could go into a different crypto account of my personal choice or my business and send the funds to you, who's a BVNK customer, or I can use my phone and I can, use that nice QR code. Very simple, very easy to use. And then essentially what will happen then is that, going back to this screen, you will have that channel set up, and they can keep sending money there, and you can see where that money is. For example, I just created this. Very simple and easy to use. So then the great thing here is now that they'll be benefiting because they'll be able to, as they wanted, use that stable coin to pay you. But you also benefit because then you can auto convert, auto settle into USD. And then you can benefit from sending that USD to yourself because you have a USD named account with BVNK. So the great thing here is that you can then receive into this wallet, for example, and then you can see all the transactions related to this PSP. And more specifically for financial and recon purposes, you can then download the data and export the data related to that PSP. All very simple and easy to use. Of course, you don't necessarily just have to do it in USD. As you can see here, it's also possible, for example, for you to automatically convert these funds into GBP or Euro and then also send them to yourselves. So all very simple and easy to use. The next thing that I wanted to show you, as we discussed in the introduction, was about payment link. So this is a slightly different way of doing things. So if I go in like this, I can click and then click into payment links. So now instead we're going to provide a payment link to a PSP that you might only be doing a one-time payment with for a specific amount. So if we go like so, I will then want to use my wallet again. This time I will pick my USD wallet. I specifically want them to pay me 10,000. I'm going to show them a display currency. So here you see it's click to pay in. So this is a payment into me. And I can set a unique reference code if I would like. And then I also, because it's a one-time payment, right, eventually the payment link will expire. So here I will be able to set how long I want that limit for. So I'm going to leave that on 2 days. And similarly, you can now see that I have this unique link. So I could copy and paste this link and send it on an email or messaging platform of my choice if I wanted to send it to the PSP and they can make a payment there. Or, then they can open the tab and they would see something like this. So what's going to happen here is that they're going to be using a stable coin or crypto to essentially settle me in that USD. So if I wanted, for example, to use USDT, I'd go like this. And similarly, the process is similar to the channel method, where essentially they could copy and paste this address and they can copy and paste the address and then send that to you at that one time, or equally so, they could use the QR code, use their mobile phone, and just go through that way and open the wallet of their choice. All very simple and easy to use again. So then what we can do here is receive that money and have that US dollar automatically for you. So you can also, if it's of interest, you can also do a similar without having to convert, and you can also settle in crypto wallets. So similarly to the fiat experience, it would be able for you to create multiple wallets like I have done previously. So again, USDT seems to be my favorite one. And you can see here that I can create as many PSP specific wallets as I want. I can go through here. I can go like this. So again, using the Tether network, amazing. I'm not very creative with names, as you can see, but but then I'm going to make a PSP4, and essentially then now I can start funneling payments to that as well. It went on to the other page, of course, and I can essentially make payments like so. There you go. So all very simple and easy to use. So then what you can do is start pushing the money in between. So I could go for my USDT, and this is then that part about converting to fiat. So here I can do a self-conversion. So using the convert button, I go like so. I have this balance in USDT. I have my USD account, and I can send perhaps a specific amount here, like so. I have 20 seconds to confirm. And just like so, I'm able to send an amount. So that's really useful, because essentially I can choose when I want to send these funds, or if I want to at all. And then the other experience to talk about here is that maybe perhaps you would like a more bespoke way of doing trading between crypto and fiat, or the opposite way around. So we have what's also at BVNK called the OCC desk. So this is used quite a lot by large FX brokerages and similar firms when they want to have more of a white glove service. So that's something that we can also discuss and facilitate. Something that we can discuss with the team. Cool. So then that kind of covers where I want to talk about in terms of how you can receive money in, how you can convert to fiat, how you can use the different methods of doing this, both channel and payment link. And then the next thing that, as we mentioned before, that we'd like to show you, besides the automatic conversions and manual conversions, is to do about the request for information portal. So first of all, let's talk about what that is. So with the RFI portal, what you can do is essentially have a very simplified way to help you deal with any compliance related issues. RFI standing for request for information. So we at BVNK have built a communication method that basically allows you to gather specific details for an intended purpose, or perhaps there's a certain nature of transaction. It could be a very new payment that you've made that's been flagged or something like this, as is often the way in payments banking in general. So here, with accordance with anti-money laundering regulations, you can essentially provide the necessary information and unblock that payment. So if I'm going to now show you that specific area and how it works. So if you go from manage account and then you go to payment support. Cool. So what you're now seeing is basically the dedicated place for managing RFIs, where you can communicate directly with the client, with the compliance team. So this stops communication only happening via email, which can sometimes be hard to track. You might lose the email. It might be something that you just forget about. You have running a business or working in business operations can be very strenuous. So maybe you just forget to check that email. It happens to all of us, right? So instead, what we've built here is a place to make it easier to track RFI cases and maintain a proper audit trail. So to give you an example, so you can see here the different statuses, the new requests that I have to give more information, the ones that I have in progress, and then also resolved. So let's take one that's new, for example. So here we can see that I've been sent this email, and basically now I can respond as I would on an email chain, but now it's all in one place, and I can also add more documents. So perhaps I would like to provide an invoice or some other form of document which proves the nature of the transaction, and that helps me to basically unlock and resolve this issue, as is seen with some of my other cases here. So what's important to understand as well is that you can give access to your team members to manage this service for you. So you would essentially log in and enable people within your team to be able to resolve these cases. So with that being said, what the end goal here is essentially for you to resolve all payments and then go back to unlocking your payment flow. And essentially to give access to your team members for this, there's a helpful flow to use as well, which you can also find out on our FQAs, or essentially just go through and set the permissions for your team members to do so. So overall, today what we've hopefully tried to show you is the different options of how you can receive stablecoin settlements from your PSPs, how you can automatically convert those into fiat, or you can also hold in stablecoins. And if you want to show you as well the different methods of how you can manually convert, be that conversion on the platform or also conversion using our OTC desk. So essentially what we've hopefully done today is show you how you can speed up your settlement process of payments, also with those payments that get RFI'd, and essentially overall help you as a business to improve your cash flows. And on that note, I will hand over to Jono. So thanks for your time. And if there's any questions, of course, I'll answer them at the end with the Q&A. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Jordan. Guys, we are going to be moving into our Q&A session. So for those of you that haven't yet popped in any questions that you might have, please pop them in now. But if not, we already have a few coming in. So I'm seeing one here. What other stablecoins and fiats are you bringing on in the future? So BVNK always brings on fiats or stable or cryptocurrencies where there is essentially a hybrid of high demand as well as high liquidity. The last thing we want to be doing is bringing on a method of payment such as a stablecoin that might not effectively solve the issues that we've just presented to you from our clients. So there are already euro-backed stablecoins out there created by reputable companies. However, we haven't adopted these on platform yet because the market caps are still really low and the liquidity is still really expensive. So it doesn't make sense to be adding it as an additional payment method at this stage. In terms of fiats, BVNK's strong points have always been and will remain US dollar, euro, and GBP for the foreseeable future. However, we do have access to alternative fiat currencies like Indonesian rupee, Filipino peso, and the Australian dollar. We have, as a business, decided that doing business with any partners that aren't highly regulated, extremely secure in terms of technology, and have exceptionally good execution ability, we don't want to interrupt what we've just presented to you in terms of the stablecoin positives of quick access, instant access, affordable access, and really improving your business efficiency end to end. So that pretty much covers what we currently do, and everything we do add in future has a very thorough thought process added to it. The next question, I don't see the payments support section of the product. How do I access your RFI portal? I believe Jordan did cover this, but Jordan, from your standpoint, you just want to reiterate how to access the RFI portal by the client?
Yep, sure, we can talk about that. Excuse me. So essentially what you can do is enable your it's on an account access basis. So essentially the portal is accessible to you if you have been set up as a compliance team member. So you'll first need to go and add your compliance team and then any other relevant team members in that team section. And the only people who are able to add people to compliance team are users of the platform who have an admin role to do so. And it's also possible to learn more about this actually on the FQA. So on the Help Center of BVNK, it talks you through how you can add a compliance team member. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, John. And guys, I think we have time for one more question. How are you planning to comply with MiCA? So MiCA as a framework closely resembles a lot of traditional regulatory frameworks. They've taken what has worked in traditional finance and applied a lot of it to MiCA. I've already said that MiCA will be treating stablecoins essentially as e-money. They will be synonymous with each other. BVNK have been UK regulated and EU regulated and doing business across Europe, the UK, and globally for a very, very long time. And coupled with the fact that we are already a Maltese EMI, a Spanish FASP, FCA regulated EMI, this means that a lot of the financial requirements we're already complying with. But over the course of the last 18 months, since MiCA has become a reality, our dedicated legal and compliance and fin crime and AML teams have been ensuring that everything within the BVNK ecosystem, from a technology standpoint, from an onboarding standpoint, from a RFI standpoint that Jordan just alluded to, is fully compliant with what MiCA would expect. And we are confident that as of the end of December, we will be fully compliant with MiCA and are very close to it already. Let me just see if, okay, cool. No more time, unfortunately, for additional questions at this stage. If you do have any additional questions, please do pop them through to us either via email. But when you get responses, when you get a follow email with a recording, we will be adding any additional questions that do come through and answering those via email. But I'd just like to thank you all for attending today. Jordan, thank you so much for the presentation. Extremely insightful, guys. And if you want anyone from the BVNK team to be in touch, please just do drop us an email. But once again, thanks for your time and have a great day further. Cheers, everybody.